Hi, I'm Alex and welcome to Just the Tip, episode 5. On today's episode, we're going to talk about one of those real juicy races I looked at last week with lots of winners to come. Caulfield tips this week for the Caulfield Cup and last week. This week I'll go straight into the tips. So race 1, Wait for No One. Now, did a really nice job for us in the end, and that 460 price was nice. I kept a nice little small $10 on the win bet, and that was a good way to start the day. Race 2, How'd Be Thy Name. Now, I didn't really want to back anything in this race, but I backed it because of where the money was coming from. Went from 9 to 3 in about 2 days, which is, a good sign, but raced all over the place, wasn't that good. I think it might go to the paddock now. But you can see that, with 3 horses coming within 0.4 of a length of each other, you can see why I didn't want to have a bet. Race 3, and this is the race I really want to talk about a lot today. Now, this is the race where I watched the replay, and I was like, wow, there are a lot of coming winners in this race. Now, of course, my tip was in the Vanguard, but once you look at the sectional times, 10.5, 10.9, 11.2, it was just going too fast, bit fresh, out in front, and it was just going to be left out there to be swallowed up. Now, I really like this run, so I probably will back it in again next time, depending on the race and where it goes, but, a little bit fresh, and if it runs a better race next time, it will be fantastic. Now, the horses I want to talk about, here the chant, My Country, obviously the qunella. Now, both of them came off the speed against the bias of the day, because really, if you watch all the replays, most of the winners were coming from the front, and I think that both of them are going to have a really nice prep, so I'll both put them in my black book. Of course, in the Vanguard, which is the horse that we tipped, definitely was a little bit fresh and up in the front with the blinkers. I think that if it gets a sit and has another racing similar to that, but not quite as quick on the sectionals, it will give a bit of a kick and it will win for us. Then I like Prompt Response. Now, another good horse. It had a little bit of bad luck coming up the straight, and I think definitely another one to follow. Brulé, now this horse was the one that I liked the most out of the race. It just never really got tested, and it just got eased up to the line, and same with the Godolphin horse. If you watch those two, they were just ridiculously unlucky. They just had a wall of horses to pass. Both of them, black book, both next time up, they're going to be winners. Race 4, Chetwood, just one word, gun. Race 5, Shidell. Now, she's becoming a little bit of an ATM machine. She's won the last couple of starts and been around the money in those other ones as well. And I think that if she keeps going, keeps picking up that black type, she's one to definitely keep following in spring. The other runs I liked was Silent Sedition and Ravi. Now, Ravi was 3 wide the whole trip, ran out wide, and definitely a forgive. I think if you put that in your black book as well, definitely going to run a top 3 spot next time up. And Silent Sedition, as I said, was really overs at that each way price, and I think she's in for a massive prep. Definitely one to follow. Black book as well. So a lot of black bookers for the first couple of races on Saturday. Race 6, Winks. Well, she's a star. Onto the Cox plate. I'll take even money. I'll take $1.05. She'll win that easy. Race 7, Samara Dancer. Now, she was stuck 3 wide the whole trip and even 6 wide at the turn. And I thought that she still had a little bit left in the tank, but she got eased up. And, that's alright. Just give her a forgive for that one. Flemington, 1,400 metres in a fortnight time. If she didn't have a gut buster, I'd say that she's probably going to be, odds on there. But you may even get up to $7, $8. So it'd be interesting to see where she goes next or if she goes to the paddock. Race 8, Wasn't Me. Now, it looked good, alright. Didn't do much. But then got, out to that 1,600 metre trip. And I think it was just a little bit too far. The jockey said after the race that it was just at the end of his prep and he's heading out for a spell. Back him up into Autumn and see what he can do there. But, just one too many in the prep for him. And a little side note, I liked Sosi Bond. If you watch this run, definitely one to follow in those coming up events. And I think that if you look at the markers, he's one of the favourites coming up for the Derby. So definitely one to watch and put in your black book as well. Race 9, he's our Rocky. And as I said, he needed a little bit of luck from that gate 1. He did get himself into a bit of a pocket, but pushed through that, hit the line strong, looked fantastic. I think counterattack doesn't like 1,600. Hopefully now it gets spelled and comes back in Autumn, and that's where you can make your money back up in there. Awesome Rock is going fantastic. Will finish top 4 on the Cox play for sure. Running really well. And Tavachi, 4th up at Flemington in a couple weeks' time. 1,600 to 2,000 metres. Definitely think that that's where the go is for it. You may even get up to 15s with it when it gets its start, and I think that that's definitely one you should back up at Flemington. Race 10. Now, Huckabuck looked a little bit uncomfortable in the run, and you can see why in the end, because it ripped a tendon, and that can't help win a race. And that's probably why it finished well out the back. It's now been retired, so, oh well, there goes that make-up bet for that one. But I really liked Ocean Ember's run in that race. Flew home late against the bias. As I said earlier, there's a little bit of bias with Caulfield at the moment. There was yesterday on Wednesday, and there was last Saturday, where the front runners are just a little bit more advantaged than the ones coming from the back. So Ocean Ember's definite black book. Comes up again in one more start, and I think you will be in the winners. Now we get on to our tips for this week. Race 1, I like number 5, Sylpheed. Now, it could be the real deal. If you watch her last replay, she was very impressive and, kicked away from at the end. So I don't think the distance is going to be any trouble. The wide gate, though, does get me a little bit oohing and ahhing. But I think the money is still coming for it. It's at even money at the moment. And it's probably where I would like to stop backing it. $1.95, I may have a little bite. After that, though, if it gets insured than that, I'll be going to number 6, another Bullseye. Now, if you watch this last run, it was really impressive. Hit that little gap, and that's what I like to see. A horse that wants to win, a horse that wants to get in front. It was a little bit far on trip, I think up to the 1600. Now it's back to the 14, and to my eye, it was definitely the each way chance. Now, I thought it would be coming in the market about $4 to $6, and I would have even considered it then, but it's coming out at $9.50. Now, that's well overs for this horse. It's just that everyone's scared of that number 5, but if the favourite can't do it from a wide barrier, this is the horse to follow. Race 2, I think this is definitely one for the qunellas and the trifecta players. I've landed on number 4, Morton's Fork. Now, I've landed on this one instead of the other colt out of the Snowden stables because I just think it's got a little bit more potential, a little bit more racing experience, and I'm just going to take that over the other one. And I think that both of them together, though, they're both short in the market, and either one would be a good bet. But I'm just going to land on number 4, Morton's Fork. As I said, number 7 is a great bet. I like Inside Agent, Valiano, Peacock, and I'm telling you, for those wider exotics, both of them have so much potential. All of them are well over the odds. And I think most of them can, run that top 8, top 6. So if a few of them get up there for the trifecta in the first 4, you'll be taking away $500-600. Race number 3, I've landed on number 7, Super Cash. Now, this is the one that I had in the little black book from a couple of weeks ago, and I think she'll come out and win again. She's opened up at $5, but she's come in already to $4.80, and I think she'll keep coming in, just chipping away. But she's come up against a really good bunch of fillies, and I think that number 6, Vesile, is a danger. Her 1400 meter and her first up efforts are impressive, and I think that, at that $8 price, she's a danger, and same with number 3, Almighty Girl. Now, Almighty Girl finished off the prep at the, the end of autumn really impressively, and it was definitely one I was like, right, spring, that's when she's going to come into, some really good form, and I think that she's a danger as well. So I probably have 7 on top, but only just in front of 6 and 3. Race 4, I've landed on number 4, Savannah. Now, I really liked her win up in Sydney last start, Kembla Grange, I think. And, if you watch her hit the line, she just stretched her neck out, got her nose forward. She really wanted to win, pinned the ears back, and beat that little Godolphin horse, that was the odds-on favourite. So, does have a lot of talent. And I think that step up into the, city class is not too far for it. And I think if it gets a good run, it will be the one to be on. I think number 2, Seabury Dream, is the obvious. And, if you're looking to keep like that Victorian form and you think that, Savannah may be a little bit weak on the wrong leg, then definitely the $3.50 is still juicy enough for Seabury Dream. Number 1, Mo Queen, only had one really good run this prep, and that was her last one. And I think that's where all the market's been found for her. Way too short unders. Number 3, Bella Solaris. Now, I think on her last run, she's really impressive, but, I think that there's, a little bit more class here. I definitely think the market has been, narrowed into, horses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's definitely going to be between those for the win and probably second place. But you never know, something might bob up at a big price as well. Probably look for a horse that's on speed and, has a little bit of a kick to it as well, and hopefully they run some cheap sectionals and get up close there as well. Race number 5, I've landed on 8, Kent. Now, it's a Godolphin runner with not too many starts in Victoria, but if you look at its last 200 metres at its last start, and it was running on the wrong leg the whole way round, running on the Sydney leg, it was coming up and weaving its way through the pack, and I definitely think that at that $17, it's well overs. It's a very, very tough race, as I said, and there's a lot of gear changes, a lot of, things to weigh up, but I've just got Kent on top because of that massive price, and I think that if you follow the each way, it's definitely something to follow. As I said, though, very strong race. Number 1, Seaburge, obviously coming off that really good run. And as I said, big kick in the balls last week for that one as well, because that was the horse that I was on for the prelude and gets up for $6.20 the place, as you do. Number 2, Good Standing. I thought its run in the Guineas was a little bit plain, so it's very firm in the market, and I think I might stick away from it. Number 3, Throstle. Forget the last run. They're going to put the blinkers back on, and that's going to be a massive improvement for the horse. Number 5, Rocketeer. Now, Mick Price said that it might be at the end of his prep. And I think that, if you look at his work, he's doing all right. He's had a soft week after that really nice second last start. But if he is at the end of his prep, he might be just, those little bit of unders at $7.50. So maybe stick away. Number 14, Waterloo Sunset. I think for those little exotic players and the each way bet, definitely something to watch too as well. But I definitely think Kent on top just because of the odds. And number 1 and 2 and 3 probably as your, your saver bets. But I think that Kent, from Throstle from Seaburge. Now, race 6, I've landed on number 1, It's Somewhat. Now, it is the top weight, but just has too much class. I think that, this Godolphin runner is going to run a really nice race, and nothing's going to be that classy against it. And I think that number 3, Maurice, is probably your other bet. It's $5 in the market, but probably it's going to be between those two anyway. And I think it's just one of those nothing races where I'm not going to have too much on it, and hopefully I'll be sinking a few beers and even miss the start. Race 7, I've landed on number 2, Tycoon Tara. Now, she's a different horse this prep, and she's been racing amazingly up in Sydney. Now, if she brings that form down, she's going to win. I do remember, though, in her younger years, I think she had a lot of trouble on her Melbourne leg, and that's why she went up to Sydney in the first place. So that might be one thing you could pot against her, and she is $2.50, so it is a bit of a risk. And if you're looking for something a bit more juicy because you want to pot some holes in the favourite, I like number 4, French Emotion. How is she at that each way price? She goes second in her first run, wins her last one, and it was impressive in both, and she's gone up at an each way price. I think that's a little bit of a miss there from the market. Number 11, Tilopia, is in the same boat. Had a nice 4th last start, got squeezed up on the fence. I think if you get a nicer run, she would have won that race. And number 7, of course, my favourite, Vibrant Rouge. Now, the only time she's missed a place is the time that I tipped her on this show. So, obviously, this will be 2 from 2. But, if you get that $10 the place, that she's definitely worth backing, especially at $1,400. Definitely for the exotic players as well, one to hit. Race 8, the Caulfield Cup. Now, I'm going to go through a lot of the runners here, but it's definitely the ones I like the most, and I'm going to narrow it down. And definitely, if you haven't checked out my other video from last week, the bonus video, have a look at that, because I talk in depth more about Jameka, Scottish, and a few of the other international chances. So I'm going to go in racebook order. So number 2, our Ivanhoe. Definitely an each way chance, put you in your exotics. I'd like its chances a bit more with wet. So if it does get a little bit of rain, I think that's one you should, draw yourself to. Number 3, Exopheric. Now, that's that each way chance international. Now, it looks really small in comparison to some of the other internationals, but has a lot of really good form in Europe. So if it brings that over, it's definitely going to be in that close, top 5, top 6. Number 4, Scottish. Now, in my other video, I said that was going to be my tip if Jameka got in too short, and I'm still going to stick with him here. Now, Scottish is, starting to soften a little bit in the markets, may even get out to $10, and I'm really hoping out to 11 or 12, because that would make it nice and juicy. And I think if you're looking purely at weight and measure, international rating and its weight, it's definitely the one that's out in front here. Now, it's got 110, 111 rating, something like that, which is close to the top in the race, and it's only carrying 55.5. So it's definitely something to look at, and, if it does get out all the way out to $10, $11, it's definitely a juicy bet to get on. Now, I like number 5, so Isaac Newton as well, for the same reason. It's got very similar form lines going through Exopheric and even Scottish to a certain extent. And I think that the weight and measures definitely suits this horse a lot. And it's got that Aidan O'Brien little touch on it. And how he, went 1, 2, 3 in the Arc de Triomphe just last week. So if he keeps that winning form on, then I think that Sir Isaac Newton's definitely one to follow too. Number 6, Tarzino. Now, this is obviously its grand final, and it's been going here all prep. Was the favourite at $15 about 3 weeks ago for the Cup. It's now out to about $30, and I think that's really reflective of how it's going. It's just every run just doesn't look that good. They've been, fiddling with gear. They've been taking off the blinkers, putting them on, taking them off, and I think that probably because it's its grand final is the only reason why you'd put it in its, in your exotics. But besides that, it's not going anywhere near close enough to be, competitive. Number 8, Sir John Hawkwood. I think this is your best roughie in the race. At the moment, 17 to 1. And I think that each way price isn't too bad considering its prep. Now, its last win in the Metrop was very impressive. And I think if it can run like that again, it's going to probably run a place. So definitely one to have in your exotics. And I think that, if you follow the form line out of the Metrop, it's definitely something that, is a good guide for Caulfield Cup. Number 9, Articus. Now, it's got that Andreas Waller, real polish on it, and I think that this horse has been picked out specifically for this race. Now, I was messaging Australian Bloodstock on Facebook just to see what their opinion was, and of course, they were very bullish about its chances, but they were looking to draw a little bit closer into the poll than that, but 11's really good, and I think that it's coming in from my 3rd to 4th pick into my equal first, 2nd pick, so definitely that each way price still looks fantastic. Number 11, Jameka. What can you say? Her record over 2400 speaks for itself. She's waited to win, 4-year-old mare, drawn an alright gate. I'm kind of hoping she goes back because that means that my chance with Articus is a little bit better. But if she goes forward, sits on the speed, she's going to be hard to beat. Number 12, Real Love. Now this is the horse we've been following its entire prep. Unfortunately failed in the naturalism for us, but won for us in the JRA Cup last start, and with that lightweight, looks a real good chance as well. Now I think she's a little bit of that smoky aspect, and with that DK Weir polish, she might be up there as well. I've got her finishing a place right now in my, selections, but definitely could be very close to winning, and I think if she gets the right run and doesn't have to go too wide on the track, she could be up there too. Number 15, Sacred Master. Definitely something that's been watched. You look at its last 200 and its last start, and I think that you'll be very impressed. Definitely one that's been forgotten in the market, and that each way is in that Sir John Hawkwood type of good roughy type of situation there. So I've mentioned about half the field there, but where am I going to go with my money? Now, as I said last week and in my other video, I like Jameka over Scottish. And I'm still going to stick that way, but I'm going to add Articus. That Andreas Voller, a little bit of polish, and I think that horse just looks the best out of the internationals at Werribee and then quarantine at the moment. So I'm going to probably go each way on Articus, and maybe a little bit of a saver on Jameka, especially if she rolls out to that $4. I think it's going to be between those three. As I said before, though, there's a couple of well-rated runners in this event, but I think that if you stick to those three horses, they're going to be the ones taking out the first two in the first three. Hopefully something at big odds bobs up for third. Box the field for fourth as well if you want. But I think it's going to be between those three horses. Maybe a small chance for Real Love, but stick to those three, Jameka, Articus, and Scottish, and I think you'll be in the money. Race 9. Now after we've won all the money in the world and taken the bookies for a ride in race 8, we're going to get with our best bet of the day, which is Hellbent, number 5. Now I think that if you go on its last start, as we bet on it last time, it's just going to win again. And I still like it. It's over about 220, 215 at the moment, and that's still good money. If you can still double up, that's definitely the horse to be on. I'm a little bit wary though of number 3, Fighting Arm. Its first start in the prep was really good. Last time was a bit, not as flash, but going around the bend again, definitely something to watch. Same with that number 8, Vidora. If they're running from the back, this horse runs freaky sectionals. I watched it at the Lightning Stakes in Adelaide, and it was just, absolutely insane coming from last. And if it does something like that, it could feature in the money. And number 4, Wild Rain. Has all that form against Heatherly, Extreme Choice, a lot of quality horses, and I think if it just keeps going on that path, it's going to be close to the money as well. But I think still quite safe with Hellbent. The freak sectionals just get him there, and I think Hellbent's the best of the day. Race 10. Now I've got it down to 2 real good chances and 1 each way chance. I think that number 12, Voodoo Lad, is the one I'm going to go with, but I'm going to have a real good look at Takedown number 4. Now I think it's probably between those two. I think Voodoo Lad just has a little bit more potential than Takedown, but I think that, both horses are, pretty good, and maybe I'll put a little quunella with the two of them. And number 6, Fast and Rocking, is probably that little best each way at the end of the day. And I think that, that third last start, it finished really nice. And if it does get a little bit of space, could bob up there for you as well at $9. Beautiful, and that's it for racing at Caulfield this week. Hopefully backed a few winners. Definitely get on the Caulfield Cup. It's going to be a big day out there. I'll be down there at the track myself, having a look at the horses. I might even do a little live cross. Who knows? Probably not though. It's probably not going to happen. But you never know. So I'll see you next week.